How to get value from your financial advisor. If you walk into a certified financial planner's office empty-handed, blank sheet of paper, you're going to walk out disappointed. But if you walk in with prepared notes, you could turn a $2,000 meeting, and it's about that for a lot of folks, into a $100,000 outcome. It's all up to you. Follow these steps. These are what, steps I use, and per my financial advisor, Neil, he says I'm in the top 1% of his clients as far as my knowledge and challenging him with complex questions. I think pretty easily you could put yourself in the top 5% of clients by doing some of these basic things before your next meeting. For this video, I'm going to assume you already have a financial advisor. This is not about selecting one, not about how to pay them, any of that stuff. Okay? You already have one. Couple background things you need to know. You're not there for basic information. Okay? And that all depends on you. If you walk in with nothing, no questions, you're going to tie up 90 minutes in small talk and how's the family and basic understanding of how Social Security works. That's not what this audience looks for. You're there for strategy. When to take Social Security to minimize your taxes. What am I actually doing for sequence of return risk? I'm not just trusting somebody. I want to know the details. To get that level of insight, you really got to consider retirement planning. It's a part-time job for you partnering with your certified financial planner. It's not a delegation. Lots of paperwork. And when I say paperwork, I mean pre-work. Pre-work is a better word. You don't want to waste 90 minutes just getting the basics out of the way. Okay. You want this to be a master class in retirement planning. My name is Joe. I've been retired for 7 years, I'm currently 61. I share my journey to help you on your journey. Not to be prescriptive, but to sell you on one man's journey, what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. If this is your third video, take a moment to hit subscribe. Okay, you'll notice that I'm at 88,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get a real push in to get 100,000. And 40% of people that watch my videos are subscribed. Thank you to you. The other 60% aren't. There's no obligation, no fee. You're not going to get an email. You're not on some spam list. Please take a moment to do that. I'm really trying to push to 100 as a milestone. Just a personal goal is all it is. Okay. So number one, okay, this is a philosophy. You cannot outsource your understanding of your retirement planning. You need to understand, okay? You can outsource tasks like tax pre-work, portfolio rebalancing, Roth conversions, but you cannot outsource your clarity and understanding of what you're doing, the ownership. That's all you. No one cares more about your money than you do. You must see as a partnership. Everybody's got a different role in a partnership. Number two, get a bound notebook. I use these notebooks. That's bound. You want it bound, but that keeps them in order. Entitle it Retirement Planning, put a date on it. Number three, you got to always know your numbers. How much money are you actually spending? Not that you hope to spend. What are you actually spending? Any changes to your lifestyle, what, you're planning on traveling more, traveling less, downsizing, assets, income. You got to always know your numbers. Have it written down. Number two, make sure you have short-term goals. And when I say short-term goals, that means, hey, I want to retire in 2 years if you're not already retired. I want to spend $80,000 a year. I want to travel. I want to downsize. I want to go from my $500,000 house to a $350,000 house in the state of Tennessee. You want growth with safety. Those are my words. Safety is a big part of retirement. You're not trying just for growth all the time. You need to understand what you're doing short term. Specifically, understand short-term sequence of return risk. What actions are you doing? If the market goes down 30%, how does my plan react to that, and as it's prepared for that. And I guess short-term goals are, I don't want to waste the years of my youth, as Azul says. I want confidence to spend. I don't, if the market goes down 20%, I really don't want to delay the experiences that I want to have. Maybe that's a travel trip. I may delay a floor remodel, flooring, like I'm going through right now. You can see behind me, I'm not moving. That's we're got everything from my living room in my bedroom here and in my garage. I don't want to worry about money. I want confidence to spend. Okay. Write down those short-term goals and then your long-term goals. What you need to understand what you're doing to battle inflation. Everybody's worried about inflation today. What's your plan? And what risk can I handle? Can you risk having 90% of your assets in equities versus 10% in fixed, or do you need to be closer to 60-40 or something like that? And what legacy do you want to leave? Anything to your children? So those are things really going into the meeting you need to know, and those are your guiding principles, your goals. Number 4, I've said this before, do not go in with a blank sheet of paper. I can't stress this enough. Have notes, okay? One of the best things you can do is print out the Boldin PDF. I use Boldin as my complex planning software. There's a PDF output that has a summary on it. I think it's like 18 pages or something like that. And that should be stress tested. Maybe you'll have a printout for optimistic returns, average returns, and pessimistic returns. And the same for inflation. I guess whenever you hit pessimistic, it gives you pessimistic inflation, pessimistic Social Security, cost of living, and pessimistic returns. So you kind of have those 3 different outcomes from Boldin. And when you go through that Boldin software and you're seeing the impact of those different assumptions, man, you walk in powerful into the meeting with your certified financial planner. If you have questions, ask them to ChatGPT in advance. Just go in ChatGPT and ask the questions. Go deep in with it. So you got some of the basic understanding from this Boldin output, ChatGPT. You're walking in pretty trained. Okay. Hey, for example, well, let me back up. 2 weeks before your planned meeting with your certified financial planner, email them your questions 2 weeks ahead of time. Not 2 hours, give them time, 2 weeks ahead of time, make them think about it. Here's a couple questions you may ask. Hey, I see my Monte Carlo scores go up if I delay Social Security to age 70, go from 80 to 86. But I don't like seeing my portfolio go down. I have to spend out of my IRA because I'm delaying Social Security. Is this emotional or real? What do others do in my situation? What would you do if you were in my situation? How does this affect taxes? I believe I can do more Roth conversions to minimize my taxes. At least in Boldin, it said to do that. Does that make sense to you? You see that level of question? Okay. Number 2 question. Hey, I have, 15% international stocks in my portfolio. They've been a dog for decades, but I understand there's value in reducing volatility, because when the market's down and there's lower volatility, I'm really taking out a lower percentage of income. But are there any other benefits to having international funds in my portfolio? And what do you have? What are others doing? Great question. Higher order question. Number 3, conventional teaching is to pull spending from post-tax accounts like a brokerage fund. But, I don't know that makes sense for me when I start looking at RMD times. I'm going to be into higher tax brackets. I think I ought to pull my RA funds down first to minimize my RMD, as it appears to lower taxes in my Boldin report. Does that make sense? Great question. Sequence of return risk. Hey, I have 4 years of expenses outside of equities. Is that enough? Based on looking at the bear markets of the last 50 years and times of recovery, it seems to be a little light. That's what you recommended, 4 years. But if I look at the lost decade of 2000 to 2010, 11, 12, I don't think 4 years covered that. Why are you recommending 4? Isn't that great? Those are, 4 great questions. Make it clear what you expect from them. I would do this in writing, like I said, in an email. I think I said email. So I write down things in the notes. I'm sorry, I may not have said email. I write down all my actions and questions in a notebook, and then after the meeting, follow up with an email. Here's what we decided upon. Here's what actions I'm going to take. Here's what actions you're going to take, and here's what I expect. So here's a section of what you could line out as an expectation of your CFP. 1, tax planning, withdrawal management. How am I going to take money out? How am I going to rebalance? Monitor IRMA. This is your premiums on supplements for Medicare, like medicines and doctors. Those are all income related. They're linked to income. Estate planning and behavioral coaching. Maybe you line out and say, hey, those are what what I expect out of you. Each meeting, we're going to go through each one of these 6. Okay. A couple other ideas that really didn't fit in with this that I wanted to cover. One, I mentioned, write down everything and then send an email with your agreement so you have it electronically. Number 2, rates are negotiable. If you already have a rate of 1% assets under management, go into them and say, I want that to be 0.8, 0.75. And just say, hey, I understand how much money that you're getting. My assets have gone up in value, and I'm giving you $10,000 a year, and it was $7,500. I want to change the rate so it's down at $7,500. I think that's the right value that I'm getting. It's negotiable. Don't be embarrassed about negotiating a rate. Okay, they're not on the other side of the table. They're telling you their rate. But you don't have to accept that. Another thing is you don't have to give a certified financial planner all your funds. You can give them 60%, 80% of your funds. It's got to be something meaningful so that they make, it's their job, and you're paying for expertise. But you don't necessarily have to give them everything. Like, for example, your bucket 1 money, which may be your, money you have in a small brokerage account or in money market funds or in treasuries. You can manage that yourself, and they don't get compensated in any way for that. You don't have to give them your entire portfolio. Just something to think about. So these are the rules that I think make them work for you, and you're going to be in the top 1%. Let's see, I had something else here. I had a closing stuff. Most people hand their retirement plan over to a financial advisor if you're going that advice route. It's about 1/3 of this audience. And you hope things work out. The real value from a certified financial planner comes from you taking ownership and treating them as a partner. You set the goals, you set the factors that you want to understand more. You set the expectation for them, and you do all the pre-work. That leads to a great outcome. Make sense? It's Joe out.